Italy's economy is quite fascinating. Italy is one of the richest countries in the world. However, it is facing almost every problem that other nations are facing in terms of economy. But Italy is facing all of them at the same time. For one, Italy has one of the lowest fertility rates and aging population. Moreover, their GDP had dropped significantly since 2008 and they never managed to recover from it. It also doesn't help a lot that their nominal wages had been decreasing, while at the same time facing quite a big inflation. All of this combined ends up being one of the reasons for Italy's terrible poverty rates, which is quite fascinating considering that it is essentially the third biggest economy in the European Union. Union that is mostly associated with being full of relatively wealthy and economically stable nations. Italy's economy could be future of many other countries. For one, Italy is one of the most extreme cases of population aging and low fertility rates, something that will eventually happen in most of the developed and developing nations. So Italy can be a great case study of how economies of future will be able to deal with recent demographic issues. But really, what's the real cause of such problems? To really understand the full picture, we have to divide this topic in several chapters. How did Italy's economy reach this point? How did Italy beat stagnation twice? Could Italy once again beat stagnation and reignite its economic engine? And are Italy's economic practices just incompatible with modern world? Italy's economy peaked around 2008. Since then, its economy had dropped dramatically. It is one of the countries that have not yet managed to recover from the 2008 economic recession. To really understand why this is the case, we must look at the country as a whole package, including demographics, its political process, and type of economic ways that they utilize. Italy has a rich history on which we can spend hours and hours talking about. However, it would be wise to start talking about what happened after World War II. As many other nations, Italy was destroyed after World War II. However, the United States, through its Marshall Plan, decided to invest a lot of money in Western and Eastern Europe. On one side, if Italians got richer, then they would be able to buy whatever America produced. On the other hand, Italy being poor would make it easier for communists to spread to it, essentially putting one of the most important countries under Soviet rule. Marshall Plan was no small deal. It still remains the largest ever economic and financial aid program ever experienced in the world. Italy's infrastructure was in shambles after the war. A large portion of damaged infrastructure could not be repaid. Thus, more than half of Italy's allocated Marshall Plan's reconstruction funds were used to rebuild Italy's roads and railway networks. Italy was the third biggest receiver of Marshall Plan. But Marshall Plan would not be enough to boost Italy towards becoming a developed powerhouse. So what really affected it? Well, fortunately, Italy has one of the best geographical features that positively affects its economy. On one side, it has direct access to Mediterranean Sea, making it easy to trade and fish. Moreover, it is located extremely close to Germany, France and Switzerland, three of the big players on the continent. While at the same time having huge mountain range up north that provides it with extra security. With everything mentioned, Italy became one of the fully integrated European trade members that gave it easier access to bigger markets. This ended up making Italy one of the fastest growing economies between 1958 and 1963, otherwise known as Italy's economic boom. After that, it slowly continued growth. However, GDP only tells us one side of the story. Up until stagnation, Italy was slowly spiraling down. Huge unemployment and increasing inflation was starting to haunt Italians. It also did not help a lot that there were social backlashes along far left and far right organizations between 1960s and late 1980s. These years were also known as years of lead. Government was spending on deficit, while at the same time global oil shortage was taking over. All of these factors played significant role towards starting Italy's first stagnations that started in 1980. While stagnations are usually bad for countries, they do serve as opportunity to look deeper and change policies and fix flaws in the systems that caused it. That's what exactly happened in Italy's case. As Italy gave independence to central bank, at the same time small businesses started to flourish. It is also worth mentioning that wage indexation laws were relaxed. Now, wage indexation is not popular nowadays, but what it basically means is that it forced employers to match wage increase with inflation increase, On paper it sounds good, however it means that more money would flow in the economy and it would force businesses to raise price to pay increased wages, essentially increasing inflation. In the end, stagnation was painful for Italy, but it kicked off one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Italy's export-led economic boom was also known as Il Sorpasso, as Italy overtook UK in 1987 in terms of nominal GDP. To really understand how Italy managed to have export-led industrial boom, we have to understand something that could not be shown in poor statistics. Italy is one of the few countries that has really high reputation for its goods, as in people are willing to pay more if it has made in Italy tag on it, and such goods are usually connected with being luxurious and high quality, whether it is handbags or expensive cars or even alcohol. Fortunately, good times didn't last very long as government spending was going up, while at the same time companies were not big fans of paying taxes, up to the point where Italy's government was forced to take more and more debt just to continue functioning. This had led Italy towards having more debt than its GDP. However, Italy was forced to clean up associated problems regarding tax and debts before joining Eurozone and adopting Euro. After that, Italy finally managed to beat their second stagnation. Entering Eurozone made it easier for Italy to trade goods and services, while at the same time attracting young workers and students from other European Union countries. However, it did not last long. Eurozone crisis swept towards the continent, sending Italy to yet another stagnation. But this time, the stagnation was different. Italy did not enter stagnation for just a decade. In fact, Italy still has yet to defeat it, which begs the question, can Italy yet again beat this stagnation? The idea of Italy beating stagnation is nothing new. However, this time the problem at hand is way much different as it once were. Italy has one of the oldest populations. Their median age is 48.1, which is second biggest in the world, just below Japan. This would not be that big of a problem if fertility levels were high. However, Italy has one of the lowest fertility rates not only on the continent but in the whole world. It is also worth mentioning that being a European Union member makes it easy for Italian graduates to emigrate to other countries, such as Germany or France, and receive better pay. All of these factors gives us one conclusion: Italy can't replace its aging workforce, and as time goes by, Italy's production capacity will go lower and lower, and as people age, they will not be able to work, meaning that there will be less and less working age people that could sustain elder population. These factors are more accelerated by Italy's membership of the European Union, as Italians don't have to even apply for visa to work in Germany, France or many other European Union members. The only way Italy could theoretically stop the brain drain without withdrawing from European Union would be to offer better wages to workers. However, this is where our last point comes in. Italy's economic practices could theoretically be outdated for modern world. To better understand it, we should look at what kind of businesses Italy has. Italy's business landscape is usually full of small businesses. On one side, country having small businesses is good as it can bring out innovation and can show huge potential. However, Italy, alongside with Greece, Portugal and Spain, are among top European Union countries where most people are employed by small businesses. This is one of the biggest limiting factors as of why Italy can't exactly compete with neighboring countries. For one, big businesses and corporations can usually use economy of scale to cut down costs and be more competitive on global scale. We have seen similar cost-cutting measures in countless countries, including the United States and China. The only way Italy could reignite its economic engine is if it got rid of the problem, as in give small businesses more incentives to grow and adapt to new global environment. One of the big problems that haunts Italy is its aging workforce in central government too. Italy's central government employees usually consist of middle-aged and elder workers, and only a shocking number of 2% of workers are between the ages of 18 and 34, compared to OECD's country's average of 19%. This results in some terrible results where Italy is one of the worst in terms of resolving cases. Slow central government could translate to slower reforms and inability to get rid of bad regulations, which could technically slow down business growth. However, it is not as doom and gloom as we have talked about. Italy could potentially reignite its economic engine if it resolves root problems that causes the issues. Huge debt and low fertility is not the root problem. It is just a symptom of other root problems, such as slow reforms that slows down Italy from competing, thus country becoming less and less attractive towards its citizens. If anything, Italy could swiftly try and take more young people in central government, while at the same time incentivize people to grow their businesses, be that by introducing better reforms or more governmental support towards growth. Hey, thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe to us so you will not miss out on our next videos.